I'm Dr. David Hill, and today we're going to be talking about constipation relief for babies. Now, first of all, we have to define constipation for babies. A lot of newborns will stool anywhere from every time they feed, up to 8 or 10 times a day, to once a week, especially for breastfed infants. So a baby who's not stooling that frequently, especially if they're a newborn who's breastfed, actually doesn't necessarily concern me, especially if they're peeing really well, they're making urine every time they feed, maybe 8 to 10 times a day. That's a baby who's probably getting plenty of fluid. If that baby's abdomen is not distended, poking out, if they don't seem uncomfortable, if they're feeding great, I'm probably not going to be terribly worried about that child. The most important thing I'm going to want to hear is when the baby does poop, what comes out? If the poop is soft, squishy, mustardy, seedy, watery, that's all great. That's not constipation, even if it only happens once a week. Now, if the stool that comes out is hard little pellets, bunny turds, some people say, if they're giant, massive rocks of stool, if they cause a lot of discomfort, if there's bleeding with the stool, even if they're happening every day, that's a constipated stool, and it may be causing the baby a lot of discomfort. So that's something we're going to want to treat. Now, the first line of treatment is breastfeeding if you can. Constipation doesn't tend to be as common in breastfed infants. If you're using formula, you may find that changing formulas helps with the constipation. Some babies get less constipated on soy formulas or what we call hydrolyzed formulas. These are formulas like Nutramigen or Alimentum or Gentle Ease or Good Start that have had the cow's milk proteins altered by being broken down into smaller pieces. That process is called hydrolysis. Now, there are some other things that you can use to bring fluid into the stool, and these are all things that have extra sugars in them that are not easily broken down in the baby's system. A common one is corn syrup. Karo is the most popular brand in the United States, and a tablespoon or two of corn syrup once or twice a day may bring more fluid into the gut and relieve constipation to some extent. In children who are 3 months, 4 months or older, you can also use apple juice, maybe just a couple of ounces with feeds, or pear juice, prune juice, again because they have sugars that are difficult to break down. One of the greatest medications to be used for constipation is now over-the-counter. It's Miralax. Miralax is a form of polyethylene glycol, which may also be available as a generic. This powder mixes flavorlessly in any number of fluids, from breast milk to formula to juice to water. And usually with an infant, I'd start with the cap on top of the bottle, maybe a quarter of that cap, and see how it does. But you can titrate it up until you get an adequate effect. Now, if the constipation isn't getting better after a day or two of intervention, if your baby's not feeding very well, if they seem to be in an awful lot of pain or have blood in the stool, you probably want to get that baby checked out. This may be something beyond simple constipation. Otherwise, we've got some great ideas to work with. Talking about treating constipation in babies, I'm Dr. David Hill.